Hello and welcome to CNN News 18 special broadcast. This is Kamolika Sengupta. Good evening. If you are a she and you have crossed 28 years of age, then obviously you must be facing the question, why aren't you or haven't you got married? If you are 38, if you have crossed 38 or you're 35 above, and you're going to social gatherings or other places all alone, and then definitely this question comes to you, where is he? So without he, is the she, not possible for a she to stay? So there where the status of single thing comes up, in our society. And today we will discuss on that topic. And right now we are joined by the author of Status Single, Sreemoyee Piu Kundu. Welcome, Sreemoyee. Along with that, the most interesting thing that we are going to introduce to our viewers and tell them that Sreemoyee has formed a community nationwide where the single status women are together. Now, that is the most interesting thing. So, Sreemoyee, welcome to our show. First question obviously comes up: what is the requirement of a status single community?
Well, I'll tell you the requirement to join is just that your status is single. You know, we are not a government agency. We don't, expect to see your Aadhaar card or your passport or something like that. We have a very simple joining form where we want to know why you want a community in the first place. What can you give back to the community? Because, Komalika, whenever I have seen you think of a collective of single women, the first perception is that, oh, these women are just meeting, they are having a good time, they are partying, they are bashing men, they are bashing their ex-husbands or their lovers or their, man haters, and that's all they talk about. And it's like a kitty party of single women, like something like four more shots. You envisage that to be the life of every single woman. South Bombay, upper middle class or rich, and traveling all over the world. But when I actually dedicated myself to the work, the hard work, the laborious work of building a community, I realized that single women wanted a collective. Of course we want to socialize with one another, we need friends, but actually we are looking to build up a cocoon of comfort, support, and non judgment. And also, there are issues like housing discrimination. There are issues like sexual harassment at work, right?
Mhm.
There are issues of women being pressurized into marriages where they are not consenting to. There are issues of, divorce, where there is domestic violence, where there are protracted child custody cases. There are issues of mothers who have taken a sabbatical for their children and wanting to come back into the work stream. There are issues of differently abled women and accessibility. Also, we are welcoming LGBTQI members. In fact, my book featured a very, very well-known
And
transgender mother called Gauri Sawant, who's a dear friend of mine, and she has adopted a child. So when we look at motherhood, we also look at the motherhood of women like Gauri, who has given a home and so much of dignity to that little daughter of hers, Gayatri, who's not little anymore. So, our umbrella of singlehood is not just unmarried women like Sreemoyee. It is anyone above the age of 18 who is
who is
single.
single?
Now, we get a lot of questions that Sreemoyee, a 22-year-old girl, what is her singlehood? Yeah, uski to shadi ho jayegi or to biye hoye jabe,
As if the
but you will
motive
be
is to just get
surprised.
married still now.
Yes, but you'll be surprised, Komolika. In fact, in October we started 6 city chapters. So we have city chapters in Kolkata, in Delhi NCR, in Bangalore and Chennai, in Lucknow and in Mumbai, and we are soon going to be onboarding our overseas chapters of Dubai, Southeast Asia, as well as UK. And Chandigarh is also in talks. I think by the end of this month, the North chapter will be quite strong with Lucknow, Delhi, NCR, and Chandigarh. So many of our members, so many of our very active, committed single women members are not women like Sreemoyee in their mid 40s. They are not even divorced or widowed. They are women who are proudly single by choice.
Yeah, that
Thus,
is what is interesting,
yeah,
proudly
and
being
thus
single.
proudly being single, unabashed, of course, see, the circumstances of your singlehood may differ. Somebody has become single after the marriage has dissolved. Somebody has been single like me, never been married. Somebody is a differently abled single woman, or somebody has undergone a lot of difficulties in their separation. Legally they are separated, they're still not divorced. Or they are younger single women who just don't want to get married. Does
So,
that
Shibu,
mean
what
that
will all of them in one platform do? What will all of them in one platform do?
oh, so firstly, like I want to finish what I was saying, that
Hmm.
there's this perception that single women are man haters. We are
Right.
forming this collective because we are anti-marriage. Not at all.
Hmm.
I respect the institution of marriage, though I believe that the way in which it exists is a patriarchal system of oppression to most women.
Right. Hmm.
But having said that, what will our community do? This is a very, very good question, Kamalika. Thank you for front ending this question. So we in the 6 on ground chapters that we have, we function largely through WhatsApp groups. So when you transition from the online to the offline community, you have to fill up a Google form, because this is a closer space. It's a more like more protected space and more intimate, because you're actually interacting with people on the platform. So we want to make sure that the right kind of people join, people who are not just checking it out. Oh, I have a shadi goinar babsha, I am looking for some women who will buy my clothes and jewelry. Or I'm an entrepreneur, I want some people to get to know about my writing, I'm a freelance writer. No, of course we will give you
Hmm.
opportunities to talk about your work, but we want to, Kamulika, going forward, create a self-sufficient ecosystem of single women in this country. I have faced situations, Kamulika, when I was promoting my book Cut. My mother slipped into a coma in the middle of the night. She had swine flu, which was hitherto undetected. I had to
Hmm.
call up people who I don't know, because most of my
Hmm.
relatives in Calcutta are old. However, my two mamas immediately rushed to the scene, with their daughters. One of my mama, his daughter is also single. I come from a family where the women are proudly single. There is
Hmm.
no pressure on
Hmm.
us. All my cousins who
Hmm.
are single are well established. They are happy,
Hmm.
successful.
Hmm.
So at the end of
Hmm.
the day, I don't want any other woman to go through that.
Right.
I have friends who have had breast cancer. They have driven themselves alone for a chemotherapy,
Hmm.
because all
Hmm.
their friends were not available. When I used to work in Delhi, their family is probably living miles away from them. They hide it from their family, they don't want to worry an aging parent. So our
Right.
ecosystem is an ecosystem of support and solidarity and socialization. So there are older single women who actually have no social life. Nobody takes them out. Their children are grown up, they live all over the world. So our meetups give people an opportunity to meet one another. And like I keep
Hmm.
telling, all of us reach that age, Kamalika, when we become lonely. We lose friends
Absolutely.
to marriage, to change of cities. Most of our cousins now live outside our hometowns. We need to build communities. And I think in the COVID, the idea of this on ground community, actually, I think the genesis of this was during the COVID, Kamalika, because
Right.
last year we worked relentlessly. We kept having Zoom calls, where we would help women, to vent, to share. So many of them had lost their jobs and they were primary breadwinners for the family. So many women were battling severe mental health issues, depression, loneliness, anxiety, job chole jache. It was horrible. So we were giving women this safe space, connecting them with counselors, with HR professionals, with financial experts. We even did a survey in the community, to find out
Hmm.
financially how has the COVID hit single women. Because
Okay.
4.5% of Indian households are run by single
Hmm.
mothers. This is a
Hmm.
UN Women Survey of 2019.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
we did a lot of work. I used to do a talk show called Status Single with Shri. You're aware of that, where we
Hmm.
featured issues pertaining to the community. And in our finale episode, we had iconic single women like Malika
Hmm.
Sarabhai, the late
Hmm.
Kamla Bhasin, talk to us
Hmm.
about their journey of singlehood. So now that we have formed strong bodies on ground, we hope to continue this work and actually make it more impactful, because now there are people on ground. You need help in
Right.
Calcutta, we are there. We will come.
Right. Right. So, what's been the reaction, Srimoy? And if we see, I was just looking into one data where it reflected that the number of single women that is increasing. That has increased up to 39%. So,
Yeah.
another question is, what is the reaction, among the community? Second is, do you think that the single woman status by choice and who are proudly to be single, that is increasing?
Well, definitely, Kamalika. If I just go by, statistics of our last census, 74.1 million women are single. And these are
Hmm.
census figures that I am quoting, which is done 10 years ago. So
Hmm.
imagine if the census had happened, in 2020, when the unfortunate pandemic hit us. If that had
Hmm.
happened today, I think we would be close to 90 to 100 million. The
Hmm.
numbers have obviously gone up. Also, remember, we've had the triple talaq, the whole
Hmm.
conversation, the bill. So, I want to welcome women. Like somebody asked me the other day, that is this community only for Hindu single women?
Hmm.
Maybe because I'm a Bengali, so they think that is it
Hmm.
only for Hindu single women? I said,
Hmm.
not at all. In fact, our Bangalore chapter head, she's a out and proud single mother, Susan Timothy. She's a pastor, she's a Christian.
Hmm.
uh, I would love to have more diversity in terms of religion, though I think that
Hmm.
this is the saddest part in India, that such a great country, such a syncretic culture today, our only way of narrowing down human beings and divide and rule is religion. So even our Lucknow chapter, we have a very gutsy, out and proud single mother, Aisha Ayub. And Aisha
Hmm.
runs a very successful digital marketing agency. I'm a practicing Buddhist. I don't identify
Hmm.
so much with the ritualistic part of Hinduism, though I believe in the philosophy of our Vedas and Upanishads. But I would want women of all religions. I would
Hmm.
want one
Right.
of our chapter leads to be a specially a differently
So
abled,
it's
a specially.
heterogeneous, like it's heterogeneous.
Of course,
Unity and
of course,
diversity, and
of
entire
course,
Indian women,
of
they are
course.
coming together, and also abroad, as you
Yeah.
said. So
I
now
call it
from
a nation within a nation, Kamalika. It's a
right,
nation
right.
within a nation.
Right. So now, how do you plan to actually go about? You have these Zoom calls, you have these meetings, in terms of placement to, to being, giving legal advice to, helping with the health problems. Everything is there. How do you really take this forward?
See, at this point of time, it's very human engagement oriented. So
Hmm.
for instance, in our Bangalore community, we have a very well known lawyer, and she's been kind enough to offer her services pro bono to the women of the community. So with a very large heart and a passion towards being a committed community member, she said that every Saturday my chamber is open to any woman who requires legal advice. In
Okay.
Calcutta, we have very well known doctors and gynecologists, mental health experts.
Hmm.
They have
Hmm.
offered their services pro bono, that any woman in the
Hmm.
community wants to reach out
Hmm.
to us, we are here. We
Hmm.
want to gradually also welcome older single women, because the more
Hmm.
and more, like, I interact with single women, I just see, like, I see my mother, Komalika, though she stays with
Hmm.
me. My sister is only 12, so she's a very
Hmm.
active dida. But Ma is so lonely, she's so lonely.
Hmm.
She's been
Hmm.
losing so many of her cousins, so many of her colleagues from her working
Hmm.
days as a teacher. I
Hmm.
see that
Hmm.
loneliness in my mother. I
Hmm.
don't want
Hmm.
any single woman in India to feel that they are alone, because in many,
Hmm.
many occasions of my life, I have felt
Hmm.
alone. And that was the time when, sometimes out of a mental kind of, a depression, or just a feeling of being overwhelmed, doing everything
Hmm.
on my own as the only
Hmm.
child, primary caregiver,
Hmm.
like a, a
Hmm.
self-employed woman, I was like, oh, I wish I had got married. Oh, I wish. So many women, do you know, just get married because they're scared to die alone.
Hmm.
You know,
And they will be
alone.
asked, how will you stay this entire life all
Yeah,
alone? And if there
yeah,
is a
like I
divorce,
don't
then
know.
they will be asked that how can you live alone? You have an entire
Yeah,
big
yeah,
life.
yeah.
So, probably do you think that this connotation, that how will you live without, either you don't have a baby, when you don't have a baby, then that is also asked, now how will you live your life without a baby? How will you live a life without a partner? That
Hmm.
connotation, do you think that's changing? And also, what reaction are you getting from society? What are their, the society reaction? Though we have gone forward, but we know that, we have not gone forward to some extent in some areas.
Well, I hear horror stories when I'm inducting new members, and I'm dealing with members all over the world actually. So people talk to Sreemoyee not just from Kolkata, but I mean, not just even from our city, but from Delhi, from Mumbai, from Bangalore, from Bangalore, from Hyderabad,
Yes, I think there.
from
Yes,
every
Shimoy, can you hear me?
big city which are Malaysia. And
Hmm.
can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Now I
So
can.
yeah, sorry, I think I just lost you for a
Hmm.
second.
There was a network problem. There was a network problem. Hello, hello. Yeah, Shimoy, can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Sure. I think there is a network problem, as it's still she is disconnected. So this is the story, a story of a community which is growing. The story of status single. They have formed a community, and national community and international community. People are there. There are women who are proud to say that they are single, and they have come together, they've united together, from to be a part, to be together, to help in terms of legal perspective, to help in terms of health, to help in terms of various aspects, have been put together. So we think that all the best to such a wonderful endeavor by Shrimoy. And her line has got disconnected, but definitely she has spoken, the essence of single status woman. And that's it. From now we'll again come with some new issues, and we'll again come with you, some new issues some other day.